Hey, pay close attention. This is some expert level editing. If you ever wanted to separate a drum loop, this is how you do it. Okay, so here I have a drum loop that has a kick drum, hi-hats, snare, and rim shot all on the same track. Now mixing this as is a problem because you don't have the flexibility to adjust the kick drum from the snare, from the hi-hats. The hi-hats might be too loud, or the snare might be too loud, or the kick is not hitting hard enough. But you can't adjust this stuff if it's all on one 2-track. So here's what I do. First, I'm gonna play it. Okay, make some empty tracks. Move the snare on its own track. Next, I'm going to highlight and copy one of the hi-hats and then just paste them. Now, on this snare track, there's also a hi-hat playing behind the snare. And when you copy these hi-hats, the hi-hat is going to double up, and you don't want that. So you have to invert the phase or flip the polarity of one of the signals so you can isolate the snare by itself. Now, because there's a hi-hat playing in both of these tracks, inverting the phase of one of them is going to cancel the hi-hat out. And that's what we want. We want to isolate these instruments as much as possible. You can pull up any plugin that has a polarity invert or phase invert function on it. I just happen to choose the Waves Q equalizer. Flip the phase over here. And now when I play both tracks together, the hi-hat is gone and you just hear the snare. Now you want to have both tracks soloed and you bounce out the sum, and the result will be the snare without the hi-hat. Take that snare and paste it on the grid where it belongs, and get rid of the other snare with the hi-hat in the background. We don't need it no more. Get it out of here. So now we have a clean hi-hat track and a clean snare without the hi-hat. Now we got to do the kick. The kick had a hi-hat behind it, right? And we're flipping the phase of the hi-hat to cancel it out. So now we're just left with the kick by itself, and we're going to do the same thing. Bounce out the sum, and when they combine together, the hi-hat is going to cancel out, and you're just going to be left with the kick. Copy that kick to match the pattern. Okay, now this one's going to be tricky because we have a rim shot that's playing with the kick and the hi-hat at the same time. The hi-hat track has the flipped phase already, so we got rid of the hi-hat, but we still have to get rid of the kick to get that rim shot by itself. So we're going to copy the kick on its own track and flip the phase of the kick. There you go. Rim shot, no kick, no hi-hat. Bounce out the sum of those 3 tracks together. Bam. Rim shot, no hi-hat, no kick. Get rid of these tracks. We don't need them. We're going to do a little comparison of the original drum loop compared to the separated sounds, and there'll be no difference. Check it out. Hey, that's some expert level stuff right there.